Hey guys, I kind of wanted to do a quick video on this. I didn't want to do a huge series of breakdown for for this fight. I don't think that there's enough footage of Mikey Garcia or of Adrien Broner's recent fights to really get a good picture exactly of who they are. I couldn't find the Adrien Granados fight anywhere, and that's who I really was hoping to be able to do this on. You know, Adrien Granados is a little bit better of an athlete than most of the fighters that Adrien Broner has fought, aside from Sean Porter, and we all know that Sean Porter is not gonna, or Mikey Garcia is not gonna fight like Sean Porter. Also, I don't think Mikey Garcia is gonna fight like Adrien Broner, or not Adrien Broner, like Marcos Maidana. So it's kind of hard to find like comparison videos, you know. But we can talk about some of the skills that they have. Maybe just doing the Marcos Maidana fight would be good because it's Robert Garcia camp, right? The things that we do know about Mikey Garcia. So if we go back into and this is a highlight video some guy made. I just kind of stole it. I don't know. I forgot his name. It was like Doom or something. But here's his video, like title and stuff. Whoops. I know you guys are gonna see all my porn and shit. But if you look at it, you know, one thing that you can get from Mikey Garcia fighting right here, he's got good offense. He's got a quick 1-2, right? And one thing I want to point out about his 1-2 as well. Look at the way that he sweeps it back. You know, when he's fighting right-handed fighters. So he comes in with the jab, and he sweeps it and he turns it away, very like Vladimir Klitschko, and he pulls it like he could be pulling away their guard. And, you know, I don't see any evidence of him landing a shot like that, but there are, every time he throws his hand, his 1-2, he does that. But notice how in these instances he's just letting Elio Rojas just throw punches at him, and he's not controlling the distance. Boom, and he gets caught with a big right hand. But it's just interesting, like, if you're looking at how their offenses and defenses line up, right? Neither one of these fighters really uses their jab to control the distance between them. They only use it to try and set up their shot as, like, you know, they both explode out of their guard throwing it, right? And that pays dividends for stuff like this, right? Where he can make him think it's going to be a jab, right? And come with the hook. Even though I don't exactly think it worked against him in that instance, right? But using the exploding jab, and again, a very quick 1-2, and he gets a lot of power into it. Even though you can't really see the shot, he drops him with it. I think this highlight goes back. Again, sweeping that, landing. And if also, one thing you want to look at, the way that, like, and I call it kind of a karate stance, where his hips are really turned sideways. He comes out sweeping that, boom, and then is able to get that around the shoulder, right? And that's going to be very similar to what he's going to be able to do against Broner, because Broner doesn't control the distance either. He doesn't use his lead hand to make your opponent fight around it, even though this guy might have actually been doing that. Yeah, he was right there, but he times him. Mikey has fucking phenomenal timing. Really good eyes, really good timing. Mikey Garcia is a tough fight for anybody. Like, a very tough fight. He's a very, very good fighter. But he doesn't set his punches up super well, right? Which is why he has that counter-puncher connotation, right? He wants you to go first. And that's also apparent when he fought Rocky Martinez, right? And he spends the first few rounds kind of jabbing in. Again, real quick. Sweeping that after he lands it. And it looks like he might even actually have been able to sweep away his left hand and then land that shot. But as he's ducking to get away from the right hand, Mikey's able to adjust the trajectory of the punch to land it. But, oh fuck, what was I saying now? I don't know what I was saying a second ago. I can't go back and rewatch my video and figure it out. But I thought I was saying something important. It doesn't really matter. Oh, yeah, Rocky Martinez, when he got dropped by Rocky Martinez in the second round, because he explodes out of his guard, right? He doesn't use his probes. He doesn't look for the mistake that his opponent's making or make him make a mistake. He explodes with all his punches. Like when you see him landing these big right hands too, right? He just explodes out of the guard, right? Boom. And gets, lands the shot. He's fast, he's powerful, and he does land it. But because Broner tries to counterpunch, that might be a problem for him too. Because they basically, they're different. I don't want to say different styles of fighting, right? But they've got kind of like very similar skill sets. I think Mikey Garcia has better timing. I think he has better eyes. But I think that Adrien Broner is going to be faster. I think Adrien Broner is going to fight on the inside better. This is a true like pick'em fight. I thought that Kell Brook versus Errol Spence was a pretty pick'em fight. Although I did think that the skills that they had lined up better for Kell Brook than they did for Errol Spence. I thought Errol Spence might have just been a little bit too green, but he, and then used what did you see in the fight? You saw two guys landing huge fucking punches and just pounding each other for however many rounds it went, like 9 rounds or 10 rounds or something. And that's like the definition of a pick'em fight. This is going to be a very similar fight, as you can see right here. Mikey Garcia's defense, right? The guy just lands like a random right hand. He's able to land punches on Mikey Garcia. I don't want to say at will, but the speed right there, right? The guy's not really setting the punch up super well, right? Gives him a double jab. Mikey just takes his little step back, thinking it's probably going to be only one punch, and gets hit with a right hand. Not super clean. He turns away from it, gets his forearm onto the into the trajectory a little bit, but again, not controlling the distance, right? Making him fight around those shots. Okay, he doesn't actually get anything in front of that one, But I think both fighters are going to have their moments in this fight for sure. But anyway, so things about Mikey Garcia: not controlling the distance with his lead hand. Good eyes, good speed, a great 1-2. And I think the way that he throws the 1-2 is going to line up really well against Adrien Broner. Just like that again, right? If you look at the karate stance, how he's kind of turned sideways, his hips, his feet are planted, and he's able to get it over that shoulder. Very similar to how Marcos Maidana was able to land some on Floyd Mayweather, right? But his is more straight, it's faster, and no doubt, everyone says more power. I don't really know about that. Marcos Maidana's, he's a huge puncher. But anyway, Mikey Garcia, tough fighter. Very, very tough fight for Adrien Broner. We're going to look at some highlights of the... and that was just a highlight video someone made. This guy's name is Doom, I guess. I'm stealing his highlight video just to show you guys some stuff. Thanks, Doom. You're a G. But we're going to talk about what Broner doesn't do well. And this is not to say either of these fighters are not good because they're not controlling the distance. Controlling the distance between you and your opponent gives you more opportunities to land offense, right? Just having your hand out there, changing the way that your opponent is able to attack you into ways that they may not even train for, right? And then you have basically this guy learning on the job to fight around your jab, even if you're just probing, you just stick it out there, right? It gives you so many opportunities to make your opponent make a mistake because it changes all of the things that you know about positioning. But anyway, right as the fight starts, Adrien Broner has his guard up. His hands are by his hand. You can see him, trying to counter the right hand. Very quick reflexes. But he winds up eating a right hand because he's not controlling the distance, right? He's looking for his counters. And the reason he doesn't control the distance is because he wants his opponents to open up so he can land his shots. And again, not controlling the distance just allows the guy to throw punches at him. Very similar to how Mikey Garcia was doing in the highlight video before this. Not controlling the distance. He tries to control the distance right there with the jab, right? But kind of eats a shot. And I don't think Mikey Garcia is going to fight like Granados. I don't think that at all. Granados fought a great fight against Broner. But by not controlling the distance and by looking for counter punches, if that's exactly what Adrien Broner tries to do, he's going to be open to those 1-2s that that Mikey Garcia throws so well. There are going to be opportunities for Adrien Broner to counter him, just like even though I'm not showing it in this highlight, where Mikey Garcia explodes out of his guard with his jab. He steps in with his jab and steps back so that he can start setting up the 1-2, right? Very textbook, but like right here, boom, countering the right hand, and I'm not exactly sure that Broner's going to be able to slip Mikey Garcia. Man, what the fuck, video? Come on. Quit fucking with me. I'm live, yo. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that with Mikey Garcia's right hand, because Mikey Garcia undoubtedly hits harder than... Well, I guess not really, undoubtedly. But look at how well he's able to pick up the timing on that right hand and start landing counter lefts. Adrien Broner's a good fighter. He picks up on timing really well as well. I think that Mikey Garcia is better at picking up on rhythms and stuff, but Adrien Broner has some really good eyes too. And he finds those, I call it that C-level offense, where you find holes in your opponent's game, right? And you exploit them rather than saying C-level, I know in connotation to like other boxing standards, maybe it's a little, it's inappropriate for me to, it's a little inappropriate of me to have my own rating system, but I don't think that other people's rating systems quantify boxing as well as I do. But Adrien Broner is a very strong finisher. We saw it in the Marcos Maidana fight. We saw it in this fight, in the Porter fight, where he knocked Porter down. He gets better as the fight goes on because he gets more information. So that all those little holes in Mikey Garcia's game, when he's exploding out of his guard. Ooh, and look at that. That's something that Mikey Garcia might be able to exploit too. Explodes out of his guard, and he's able to counter with a right hand. And I think that's something that both of these fighters are going to be looking to do, is counter their opponent's jab. It's going to be really interesting to see who's able to establish it against the other fighter, because we've seen Mikey Garcia get dropped off a counter to his jab, and Adrien Broner right there eating a shot. So no matter how fast you are, right? Let's just go back to that right hand too. I don't even know where the fuck it was, to be honest. Maybe it was right here. Yeah, right here. Okay, cool. No matter how fast you are, you explode out of your guard, eventually your opponent's going to get your timing, and that's something like if you watch the Rocky Martinez fight, in the first couple minutes of the fight, Mikey Garcia is exploding out of his guard to throw his jab, and then he finally does one and commits to a right hand. And it kind of grazes Rocky Martinez, but Rocky Martinez uses head movement and lands a perfect one on the button. Doesn't hurt Mikey, but because he doesn't see it coming, it drops him, right? And both of these fighters are going to have to worry about that stuff. The way that their offenses and their defenses line up, like neither one of them really controls their opponent too much. If you watch in camp, Mikey Garcia does have some good turnouts after he throws punches and then controlling his opponent's shoulders and pushing their body so he can turn out. I haven't seen too much of it in his fights, but he definitely trains for it, so it's going to show up in the fight eventually. Another problem with it is Mikey Garcia hasn't been super active. He's been training, right? He's been fighting in the gym, working out. He's always in shape, always getting better. So it's going to be difficult to tell exactly how good he is and how well he's going to fight against someone who is really active. Adrien Broner is pretty active. So we'll have to see. I got to rewatch that Dejan Zlatkin whatever fight of Mikey Garcia's, and Mikey Garcia looked fucking phenomenal. He looked probably like 10 times as good as he did against Juan Manuel Lopez, and he knocked that guy out in the 4th round. Like, he looked way better. I might have to redo some of those videos of Lomachenko versus Mikey Garcia for when that fight happens, because Mikey Garcia looked way better. He had way better control. He used his lead hand way better. But anyway, that's neither here nor there since both of these fighters are orthodox. But this is going to be a really interesting fight. I think that it's a pick'em fight, like I said. neither one of these fighters set their punches up super well, right? They set them up with the very basic 1-2s or, Broner exploding out of his guard. I think on the outside, Broner's going to be in more trouble than Mikey Garcia is. Maybe but like 53, 47, percent, like 53% in favor of Mikey Garcia, 47% Adrien Broner, so like 6% edge. And those are like arbitrary stats. I just think that Mikey Garcia is going to have a little bit of an edge because I think he punches. I think his 1-2 is going to be really good in this fight, especially against Broner. I think he's been working more on his left hook, to be honest, and setting traps. And that's another thing that that the Robert Garcia has, is they were able to set the trap of the jab to the body in the Maidana fight against Broner, and then loop that up and catch Broner, right? So maybe they see other things that they can exploit, things that Maidana couldn't do, or wasn't as much of an athlete enough to do, or as good of a boxer, or good of a counterpuncher, or as good of whatever, But anyway, a lot of this fight is going to come down to who can take away the other person's jab. And because I can't really find a lot of like recent fights of Mikey Garcia, it's hard to predict and hard to do like a full breakdown. But this is actually my pick for fight of the year. I think this is going to be just an amazing fight. This is going to be the fight, that's tough to say because the Kell Brook Errol Spence fight was fucking amazing. That was such a great fight. Such a roller coaster. Really, really good fight. But this fight could be better. It could be better. I think that there's a decent chance that Broner might go down early. But we know fucking Broner has heart. People talk shit about Broner because of whatever reasons. He has close fights, against bigger guys. He's struggling to find his weight class. And, part of that, I think they're steering him away from Terrence Crawford. He's with PBC, and I don't think they want to give him to Terrence Crawford or give Terrence Crawford to him. It could go, I don't know. That's, I don't think they want to make that match. And I think that might have been one of the reasons why he moved up for a while, and now he's moving back down, and he's already got someone to fight, without fighting a real contender at 140 or fighting for one of the belts because all the belts are being tied up by Crawford and Indango and whoever the fuck else has a fucking belt down there. I don't know, but maybe Crawford's gonna move up after this next fight, after he fights Indango, after he unifies it. Maybe he's going to move up and fight. I don't know who the fuck he's going to fight, dude. He better not. He better stay at that weight and just clear it out for a minute and wait for Lomachenko. I think I don't actually think they should fight, but it would be a good fight. I definitely enjoy watching it. But anyway, both of the fighters, neither one of them used their jab to control the distance. So we'll have to see how each of these fighters' jabs evolve. I think that Broner's, very likely going to take some big shots early from Mikey Garcia. Both of these fighters are really fast, and Mikey knows. Look at how fast he is with his punching combinations. And that's gonna work really well against Broner, who's looking to counter and make you pay for every shot like it's a mistake. So, and I don't know. Mikey Garcia is not as, I don't want to say impatient as Broner, but Broner does try to capitalize on every opportunity. And that's one of the interesting things about Mikey Garcia is that because he's not always trying to do that, he's patient sometimes. It makes him more unpredictable, and it kind of makes me, in that respect, kind of lean towards him. But I think that Adrien Broner is going to fight much better than Mikey Garcia on the inside. Although Mikey Garcia has great footwork on the inside, the way that he pivots and moves just to the side after he throws that right hand. Maybe we'll see a clip of it here. That was some great footwork. In and out. Boom. Now he's smothering. Controls his head. He's able to take a step back. But both of these fighters are, they're not that hard to hit. And that's why it's going to be such an exciting fight. So I'm really looking forward to it. Who do I think is going to win? Man, it's so fucking hard to say. It's really hard to say. I don't really know who's going to win. I think Broner is like minus 700. So on principle, I think that I would bet on Broner. I think I would bet on Broner to win. I'd put like $200-$400 on him to win. The opportunity to win almost $3,000, right? But if the fight was even, the odds were even, I'd probably bet on Mikey. So maybe that says that I'm leaning towards Mikey. I don't know. It's gonna be a fucking hell of a fight. One of the things that I could see happening is the fight being really tough and Adrien Broner outworking him, using that heart that we saw in the Maidana fight, because he got dropped. He got fucking rocked by Maidana. And then he got dropped later on, late in the fight, and he was still able to come back and hurt Mikey. We don't know where, how much heart Mikey Garcia has. Someone made reference to Mikey Garcia quitting against Orlando Salido after his nose got broken, and I don't know. Mikey Garcia comes to fight. He fights every round, but we've never really seen him in any trouble. We've never really seen him behind late in a round or late in a fight. Maybe that's more credence to pick Mikey because he makes the proper adjustments, because he finds the holes, because, for all intents and purposes, he probably is a better fighter than Adrien Broner. But I don't know. It's going to be a great fight. At minus 700 something, I'd bet on Broner. An even fight, it's tough to say, man. It's really tough to say. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know who to pick. But I am picking this to be probably fight of the year. Probably. It's unfortunate. Yeah, sorry, to all my fans, anybody who is interested in hoping for some real fight breakdown, because highlight stuff, it only goes so far. You can only get so much information out of a highlight video. You don't get to see the ebb and flow of each round, the adjustments they're making, figure out what their game plan was, and then how that changes. There's just so much that you don't get to see, and because I don't have any of that from Mikey Garcia, I don't want to hear any biased bullshit about doing it on doing Adrien Broner's, because I could have done the Molina fight, but who the fuck? Molina? Come on. I couldn't find the Granados fight, so this is all I got, guys. But it's going to be a close fight. Man, I want to say I'm leaning towards Broner, though. I think in the late rounds, he never loses his speed. He's always powerful. But it's going to be tough, man. The first few rounds are going to be rough. Both fighters are going to be taking some big shots. And it's just going to be a great fucking fight. I hope I even get to see it. One of my homegirls having a party in Palm Springs, so we're going to be renting a house down there. And I don't even know if I'm going to be fucking sober enough to do a video about it. I'm probably going to be fucking smashed. And dude, we're going to be having a good time. So I'm going to be missing the fucking John Jones DC fight. Fuck. So much fucking good fights this weekend. But I'm going to do my best to sneak away and kind of watch the fights and maybe throw out a video late in the evening. We'll see. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you guys are picking. Tell me who you're picking, why you're picking them. I know I talked a little bit about Broner's proven heart and how much he cares and he wants to win and this and that. But if you guys have some other boxing skills or interesting things that you think that I missed, that I'm not talking about, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys see in Mikey? What do you guys see in Broner? Let me know who you guys think is going to win the fight. I personally think it's going to be a pick 'em fight. Going to be a great fight. and we'll see. We'll see.